What's going on, everybody? It's Faye Dating Coach Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to discuss, you being the one, but the man's not able to commit. The signs. What does this look like? Why he's not committing? I feel like a lot of you are going to fall in this category, so if you do, please leave a comment below and let me know. Well, yeah, that he's doing those things. Yeah, that's the excuse he was making. So on and so forth, okay? So jumping into this, I first want to kind of debunk the myth that a lot of people have, which is if a guy really likes you, it doesn't matter the problem he has, he'll commit. This is absolutely not true. But Elliot, if I'm the one, he would. That's what No, that's not true. I'm telling you, there's so much that goes into making a man commit to the point where I think is out of his control. And what I mean by that is, for a man, think of it like this. It's almost like an illusion, or I don't want to say a mental disorder, but what I'm trying to get at is it's sometimes to that extreme. Yeah, you might be the one, but if he doesn't see it, because he has these mental blocks, whether he's talking himself out of it, he's very fearful of commitment, traumatic things, maybe how his upbringing, maybe never having a healthy relationship, maybe being cheated on in his last relationship and having some catastrophic, walking in on his fucking homie, banging his girl, like, it could be in. It's very hard for a man to wrap his brain around a healthy relationship and seeing the benefits of it when up to this point, he has FOMO, he's emotionally unavailable, he's only had negative experiences with relationships, so on and so forth. But at the same time, this doesn't mean a man can't like you. This doesn't mean a man can't feel authentic, genuine feelings, like whether it's his feelings or the things he says to you. And that's where this kind of thing overlaps. It's like, okay, well, Elliot, we're getting along really well. Things are going great, but he can't commit. Is that a valid excuse? And yes, it is. Now, of course, before we get into this, I'm going to say if that's the case, like I always say, 2-3 months, and if you're not his boyfriend, or if you're not boyfriend, girlfriend, you leave the guy. I don't care. It's not your job to fix him. There needs to be a repercussion to a man's actions no matter what. But what does it look like, okay? First off, if you're talking to a dude where things are progressing, things are going well, but he's unable to commit, that's a problem, okay? Because usually what happens is women, when they're talking to an emotionally unavailable man who's unsure that she's the one, what this looks like is you're talking to a guy who's getting multiple dates in. It kind of feels like a relationship, like you might be getting 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dates, but you don't feel it progressing. Okay, it's just like, okay, we've been talking for 2 months, we banged a handful of times, we're on 12 dates, but still no progress. In terms of like depth and rapport and chemistry, and again, it being a relationship. The difference between that and a guy feeling you're the one is he's all about it. He's moving forward with it. He's treating you well. He's consistent. He's being a great guy, okay? And you are building that depth. You are building that rapport. You are building that chemistry, but he's still unable to do it. Which kind of leads me to the second thing, which is transparency. Usually when you are not the one, you have a guy who I call it buying time. Like he uses like buying time phrases. I need more time. I'm not sure, but if I wanted a relationship, it would be with you. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what happens. He'll just say things like, "This is moving a little fast for me. Let's slow it down and see." Or he leaves and he comes back and he wants to start over again to buy more time. Well, let me just get another 2 months for free. Let's start from the beginning because I haven't talked to you in a couple months and see where it goes. He'll do shit like that. Okay, but if you're the one to him, what that looks like is you're talking to a guy who is very transparent, who's very good at communicating along the way, telling you, I am scared, I am fearful, I am worried, I am this, I am that. And he comes up with solutions, right? You guys are trying to find solutions along the way. I tell my clients the number one way, well, consistency over time is one of the best ways. The second best way to figure out if a guy is truly, genuinely wanting a relationship with you is he's finding solutions to the problems. So there's times where I would tell my clients to kind of put a man's feet to the fire and see what he says. Because I just want to see what a man says. It gives me a clear answer, right away. If, for example, again, you're coming up with solutions, he's making negative comments towards these and excuses instead of trying to find a solution with you. If you and I were dating and it's long distance, and I'm like, I don't know, I can't do long distance. I really like you, but I just can't do long distance. And you're like, hey, Elliot, don't worry about it. I'll come to you every month. I'll come to you. You don't got to worry about it. I got all the time in the world. I work remote. I'll come to you. I know you're busy, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, yeah, but I feel guilty because you're coming all the time, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel right because I feel like I should be doing. No, Elliot, don't, again, excuses, right? No, Elliot, seriously, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I have all the time in the world. I'm retired. I'm this, I'm that. I want you to travel. I've never been out over there in the Midwest. I want you to see what it's like. Yeah, but there's nothing to do out here, and you'd be bored, and I don't think you would. Again, right? That's a problem. When you're talking to a guy and he's making excuses, and again, it doesn't even have to be that drastic. It can be small things. Well, I can't. I'm always busy. Okay, no, I understand you're busy. You can't see me this Saturday. Let's plan something next weekend. Oh, I don't know. Everything's up in the air. Okay, I understand, but let's just try to plan for a date. And if it can't, let's have a backup date. So let's plan for next Saturday. And if that doesn't work, then let's just have an easy Sunday, a Sunday at lunch. Yeah, I don't know because Saturday I'm behind, so I'm gonna try. I have to do something Saturday, then Sunday I'm gonna. If I don't finish, I'll have to catch up. And again, guys are trying to. They keep on making excuses instead of coming up with solutions. Instead, you want a guy to be like, hey, you know what? I like that. Let me go check my schedule real fast, and I'll get back to you because I really want to see you. It's literally that simple. If you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man, he always kind of keeps you at a distance. He's always making these excuses. He's always trying to keep a cap on things, control of things, especially after he gets control. So I guess, I know I'm all over the place with this, but I guess another sign is the man's moving very fast. And then I always say around the halfway point, so 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks in, you start to see a dip. So a guy would be like this, oh yeah, man, she's fine as hell. She's the only woman I want. I'm going to delete the dating apps for you. I'm not talking to anybody else. And, right? It dives off kind of after 4, 5, 6 weeks because a lot of context is built up. And the guy's thinking, oh no, I don't know, I can't do this. I bit off more than I can chew. I promise more than I can deliver. And I feel like if I keep on going along with this, it's telling her I'm on the same page when I'm not, which creates pressure and it leads her on. This is usually emotionally unavailable men who are very bad communicators and they end up pulling away, right? Now, if you're talking to a guy who I think really likes you, like I said earlier, he's consistent. He's very good at communicating and being transparent from the beginning. And he's kind of letting you know along the way. So it's going to go like this. And it always not stagnates because that sounds negative, but it doesn't always go like this. That's just unrealistic. Well, usually when you're talking to a guy who likes you a lot and sees you as something long-term, like long-term potential, it goes like this. Then it kind of like goes like that, right? And kind of mellows off to something that's more sustainable for you two. Versus when a guy goes like this and then it kind of dives off. And again, this is because this guy does like you. His feelings are genuine. Everything he's saying and the connection you guys have is authentic. However, there's a reason he can't commit. Now, with that being said, what are these reasons? What's the difference between these two? Here's the thing. The reasons are probably the same. The difference is the communication style. There's some people who are just really fearful of relationships, whether that's FOMO, meaning fear of missing out. They feel these decisions are very permanent. They feel that they bit off more than they can chew. They can't deliver. Maybe they like the idea of a relationship and can't give you one. And then they really freak out. Okay, it's all about reflection. It's all about reflection, self-awareness, having social tact, how you're coming off, what you're kind of giving the person the narrative. You're feeding the person, like if you're feeding a person a narrative of a relationship. Again, people take that, men whether you're a good communicator or bad, you're taking that differently based on how aware you are. There's guys who are moving really fast and they're not even aware that they're doing it, right? Because I have women come to me all the time, they're like, Elliot, you talk about pace as the problem, but I'm not the one who sped it up. He is. I'm like, well, yeah, but he's so stupid. His eyes are just on the price that he doesn't see the checkpoints. He doesn't see the landscape. He doesn't see the what's blowing by him. He doesn't realize where he's at. He's just seeing eye on the prize, and then he realizes, oh shit, I'm lost. What's going on here? And he freaks out. When you're talking to an emotionally unavailable man who is a good communicator, who truly does like you, you don't get those hiccups, those valleys. You don't get that up and then that down. You don't get that strong of a contrast because this guy's a very good communicator. The reasons are the same, whether it's trauma, my ex cheated on me, I'm fearful of being in a relationship, because a lot of times these guys, when they're fearful of a relationship, it's because they've always had bad relationships. What they think is, well, if I get into a relationship, that's the only way I get hurt, is when I become vulnerable, I put myself in a position to get hurt, right? That's the narrative they have in their head. That's why it's very hard for them to trust people, because they probably thought this before with a woman. The woman said it wasn't going to hurt, she wasn't going to hurt him, and then she's in bed with Johnny, who's packing, so and he finds out something like that. But these guys are much better communicators. So to summarize all this, you're talking to emotionally unavailable men, both sides. One's just a very good communicator, one's not. One has a lot more self-awareness. At the same time, I feel that he's more consistent. The communication's clear. It's a better flow. You don't get these dives and things like that. Okay, so with all that being said, I know I was all over the place, but I think I kind of summed it up in a good way. Both are emotionally unavailable, just different communication styles. You know, ladies, you know if you're the one or not. A guy lets you know. It's just, there's some that just make excuses, and there's some that are very transparent with you through it all, okay? But either way, you shouldn't be staying with the guy, okay? There has to be a consequence to the actions of not committing, to not being ready to commit. If you stick around, you're getting played either way, no matter who the guy is, because he gets the advantage. But that being said, ladies, I love you all. If you want to get a session with yours truly, link is down below. Again, love you all. Take care and peace.